It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. But the Canucks get 2 points. The Canucks are 2 games above 500, and they stay ahead of the San Jose Sharks in the standings. But oh, it wasn't pretty. A terrible game from the Vancouver Canucks. A game that they should have put away after the first period. They should have came out in the second and just buried the San Jose Sharks. And they just didn't. And they just let them back in the game over and over and over again. They played like they didn't want it. Yet somehow they win, thanks mainly to some iffy goaltending and some weird bounces, but it's a win nonetheless. As always, we'll break this one down. I'll go over my thoughts. More minuses than pluses today, I'll tell you that. And then we'll take your thoughts in the comments. Oh boy. First period. Brock Boeser opened the scoring. Great first period, by the way. Canucks playing really well in the first period, and they finally get through with about 5 minutes to play in the first. Brock Boeser just walks in front, rips it past Reimer, had the glove too low. It's 1-0, and then 3 minutes later, Quinn Hughes, a really nice play to hold the line. He just turns around and throws one towards the net. It bounces between the legs of Highmore, takes a weird skip and a hop over the glove of Reimer, and the Canucks have a 2-0 lead in the first period. And at the end of the first period, the shots are 15-4. It's a dominant period from the Vancouver Canucks, and you'd think they could build off that against a team that's not very good in the San Jose Sharks, and they would go in and make that, continue that in the second. If we look at expected goals, right? This is a metric that they track shots and shot attempts and all that stuff and tell you how many goals a team's expected to get. In the first period, the Canucks were expected to get 1.5 goals, and the Sharks were expected to get 0.15. So 91% expected goals share for the Canucks in the first period. That is crazy high. Crazy high. Unheard of high. Dominant in the first period. And in the second period, they come out slow. They come out like they're not interested. The Sharks come out in a rush. Couture tries to fire it across on an open net. Tyler Myers tries to break the pass up. It goes off of his stick and in. It happens. It's unfortunate. He tried to make the right play by breaking the pass up, but he angled the stick bad. It hit it. It went in. If Demko had moved over a little quicker, maybe he gets there. I think Demko maybe overcommitted to the shot and maybe trusted Myers a little bit too much. It's an unlucky bounce. It happens. It's 2-1. But hey, the Canucks are still playing like the better team. In the first period, they should be able to come back and keep playing well. And Canucks get a power play 5 minutes into the second period, a bad cross-checking penalty to take, and they do absolutely nothing. They get 0 shots on goal. They're passing the puck to the other team, and San Jose is building that momentum, and they are building that momentum. And the Canucks don't get their first shot on goal till 10 minutes and 49 seconds into the second period. 15 shots in the first period. They don't get a shot on goal in the second until over the halfway mark, but it's a goal. Kyle Burrows holds the line, takes a wrister. It goes off the leg of Juho Lammikko, our boy John Pond, and under the glove of Reimer to make it 3-1. A lucky bounce, and it's lucky for the Canucks to get on the board here. So the Canucks are up 3-1, but then Boeser takes a tripping penalty. It's a penalty you can't really take. And then Timo Meier scores in the ensuing power play. Shot short side, not a great looking penalty kill, and it's 3-2. Canucks get a power play with 5 minutes to play in the second period, and they do absolutely nothing once again. 0 shots on the set for the second time on their 3 power plays. They get nothing going in a game that is now a 1-goal game, and the second period was all San Jose. Shots in the first period were 15-4 in favor of Vancouver, and the second period 15-5 in favor of San Jose. So one period that the Canucks dominated, one period that the Sharks dominated. Canucks got lucky to get one on the board in the second, so they have the lead. Going into the third period, San Jose's on the power play to start, though, and the penalty kill is not looking good. The Canucks are scrambling around. There's no structure. A really nice pass from Hertl to Meier, who gets his second power play goal of the game on a wide open net. And just like that, it's 3-3, and San Jose has all the momentum. Canucks get a power play as Timo Meier takes out Thatcher Demko. Now, look, he was hit into the goalie by Tyler Myers. The ref standing right there didn't make the call. The one at center ice did. I don't understand why the center ice ref would make that call when you got a guy down there looking right at it. But hey, they make the call. The Canucks go to the power play. Once again, for the third time in a row, 0 shots on the power play for the Vancouver Canucks. 3 of their 4 power plays, the Canucks get no shots on goal. So 3 shots total on the 4 power plays on the night. It's completely unacceptable. Canucks finally get their first shot of this period 8.5 minutes in. So remember, they had 15 shots in the first period. They go almost 11 minutes without a shot in the second period. They go 8.5 minutes in the third period without a shot. I don't know what to say about this. It's crazy, the crazy long stretches that this team has without getting shots on goal. And it just keeps happening in games where, look, in this game, it's a tie game. It's a 3-3 game against a San Jose team that isn't very good. They have a couple players playing really well, and it's really just one line, that Meyer, Hurdle, Barabanov, how do you say his name? That's the only line that's really going for San Jose. They don't have Erik Karlsson in the lineup. It's a team that you dominated in the first period. You're doing absolutely nothing against here in the second 2 periods. The Canucks get a penalty kill, and they actually get a good kill as JT Miller goes off for a hook. Canucks are pressing late. Some great work by Elias Pettersson, and Kyle Burroughs makes a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful backdoor pass to Connor Garland. Jam play in front. Garland chips it over the goalie. I put down Pettersson and Burroughs for assists here. I think officially they weren't giving them. I don't know if they changed that. They ended up giving Pettersson assist, not one to Burroughs. I'm keeping his name on here as an honorary assist because it was a really nice play to set that up. And it's 4-3. So Canucks, having played terribly for about 35 minutes at this point, have the lead, and they just need to hold on. We have a play by Elias Pettersson in front. Garland makes an excellent pass. Beautiful pass to Elias Pettersson all by himself in the slot. It should be the surefire insurance marker. Call it a game. We're going back home, and his stick shatters. I mean, what are you going to do? It's not his fault. Stick just quit on him. So 4 to play, and the Canucks are just up by 1. The Sharks take a really long time to pull the goalie. They finally pull him with 45 seconds to go, and they're pressing, and they're pressing. And there is a shot. There is a freeze frame at like 7 seconds of Brent Burns at center ice with the puck. And wouldn't you know it, less than 7 seconds later, the puck's in the back of the Canucks net. It's Barabanov with a great shot, scores at the buzzer. It's 4-4. Couple of things. One, why is Travis Hamonic out there when you're defending a 1-goal lead? Guys like Oliver Ekman-Larsson are on your team. Guys like Quinn Hughes are on your team. Oliver Ekman-Larsson has had his best season defensively, probably in his career. Quinn Hughes is having his best season of his career. Both of them could be out there. Even Tyler Myers is not bad defensively. Even Kyle Burroughs, I'd be fine with him out there, get a bit of a physical presence. And it's Travis Hamonic out there. And what is he doing? He's trying to defend the pass across. It's sort of a 2-on-1, but there's kind of guys around. It's really scrambly. It's pretty clear that he's going to shoot the puck. And Hamonic plays the pass with less than 1 second to go instead of pressing the defender. He just gave him all the room. He gave him the shot, and he beat Demko cleanly, and it's 4-4. We go to overtime. Canucks had possession for most of the overtime. The Sharks take a penalty. So the Canucks pull Demko. Might as well maximize your 4-on-3 time. Really nice pass from Elias Pettersson to find JT Miller on that far side. All by himself. He walks in and scores, and it's 5-4. The Canucks win. The Canucks get 2 points. They give the Sharks 1, but it doesn't matter how many points the Sharks get. They cannot be the team you're competing with if you're trying to make the playoffs. The Canucks won this game, and they didn't deserve to. They played a really great first period, and then they just threw the game away a couple of times. And the Sharks, if the Sharks were a better team, they would have run away with this game, and they totally should have. I think both teams deserve to lose tonight. The Canucks just were able to pull it through. So on to my pluses and my minuses. Let's get the pluses out of the way here. The first period, obvious plus, dominant, right? Came out of the gate hot, played really well in the first. Back-to-back games with a goal for Lammikko. Love to see that. He's up to 5 on the year. Not a lot, but if he's got 10 goals by the end of the year, you're totally happy with that, considering his job is not to score goals. I thought Kyle Burroughs had a great game. He gets 1 assist. I think he should get 2. Hopefully they give him that second one. I thought Quinn Hughes was great. Again, just seeing him as that pressure release valve in his first game back after being in protocol. There's a play. I think it was in the third period. No, it was the first or the third. It was one of the periods where the Canucks were on the right hand side, and Quinn Hughes just has the puck in his own zone and has to do a breakout. And two Sharks players come right in on him. He just kind of shifts away from him, creates space, plays it to Luke Schenn, who has all the space in the world. He is a breakout machine. He is so good, and I say that every time. He was really good. On to the minuses, though. My goodness, were there some minuses. The power play. Power play is the obvious one, right? The Canucks go 0 for 4 on the power play. They get 3 shots on their first power play. It was a fine power play. Didn't score, but it's fine. And then their second, their third, and their fourth power plays, a combined 0 shots on goal. 6 minutes of the game that the Canucks had the man advantage. Absolutely nothing. It wasn't like, they had a couple chances, but they just missed the net or whatever. They just created nothing. It was awful. It was just useless. You want to talk about special teams? How about that penalty kill? Canucks go 0 for 2, at least in the end of second, beginning of third. They end up killing one off later in the third, but the Sharks score there on their first 2 power plays, both Timo Meier, and that's the reason they were in this game. Really, the special teams are what allowed them to score, and the Canucks just continue to not be able to do anything about it. They're back below 70%. At least they were after that second one. I don't know if that third one was enough or if their actual kill was enough to bring them above, but at one point they were back below 70% on the penalty kill, going 1 for 3 on the night. It's just, you're not going to win any games when your power play doesn't do anything and your penalty kill also doesn't do anything. That's a 2-goal swing right there. And that is really the story of this game. Obviously the second period, the Canucks just came out lifeless. They really had the opportunity to put the hammer down. It was a 2-0 game. You come out hard in the second period and continue to show that you're the better, faster, stronger team. And San Jose they'll wilt. Like, they will just, eventually you'll slowly wear them down, especially if you get another goal. You get another goal in this early in the second period, it's 3-0. They're done. They are not going to be pressing super hard to pull that game back. And then you can sort of sit back on your heels and score effects will take over. The Sharks will get some shots, but there'll be nothing high danger and you're fine. You go home with your 3-1 win and that's it. But they just came out slow and lifeless in the second, and they continue that through the third. They just didn't close out this game. The Canucks seem to be a team where no matter what happens in the first period, all bets are off, right? If the Canucks come out to a lead in the first period, there's a real chance they blow it. If the Canucks get scored on 5 times in the first period, hey, maybe they might pull it back, right? We saw it in the Columbus game. They had got scored on 3 times early, and they were never really out of the game. They came back, fought hard, and won it. Well, this game, or we go back to the game against the Islanders. They allow 5 goals in the first period. They make it interesting. They score 3 and look like they might have a shot to get back in it. It is just swings between periods. The team you see in the first period is not the team you'll see in the third period when it's the Canucks. It is weird to see. And you got to wonder if consistency is something that they can work on. It's kind of a tricky thing. It's not really something you can teach. So hopefully that gets sorted out a little bit. Other minuses, I mean, we can call out some players if we want. I think Travis Hamonic is on my minus column. I mean, Tyler Myers, Tyler Myers created a power play. That was nice when he pushed Meyer into Demko. But he tipped that one into the net. I don't think he played an excellent game. And Tanner Pearson is a real contender for a minus tonight. I genuinely did not notice Tanner Pearson tonight. He played 14 minutes. He was a +1. Good for him. I genuinely noticed Tanner Pearson at 2 instances of this hockey game. There was one play where he was net front on the power play, and he was standing, I think second period, standing right in front of Reimer. The puck gets passed to him. He has no one around him, and he bobbles the puck and loses it. That was one. The other one was when Connor Garland and Tanner Pearson came in on a 2-on-1, and Tanner Pearson just went offside on the other side of the ice. Like he just was a stride ahead. And it's so easy to not do that, to not go offside. You just wait, you skate to the line, and your instinct is right when you get to the blue line, you turn and you just sort of go on a bit of an angle and you go across. And then the second that puck crosses the line, you turn back in. It's really not that hard. It's not that hard. And it was just frustrating. That's my minuses. That's my thoughts on the game. Do we give game pucks out? I don't know. Game puck for the Sharks, it's Timo Meier, and it's not really close. For the Canucks, I guess it's, I'm going to go Kyle Burrows. I thought he was good. I could give it to Lamico. I could give it to Quinn Hughes. JT Miller gets 2 points again, which he just seems to continue to do. Although I didn't like the penalties that Miller took. He took 2 penalties in this game, that nearly cost them. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Let's take yours. I will pull up the old comment machine and let's see what you guys have to say about that interesting game, I will say. Lieb coming out saying that Demko's first off game in a minute. Yeah, I mean, he allowed 4 goals, right? I mean, you can't say he had an excellent game. And I would say there were times just watching him, like, I don't want to just call it like, oh, he allowed 4 goals, bad game. Because genuinely there was a few of them where it was just a really good play against him and whatever. But there was a few instances where I just noticed his play, like he seemed to be slow getting across, right? There's the one where the pass where Myers broke it up. He didn't seem like he was ready to commit over to the pass. He seemed like he was fully committing to things and not leaving his options open at times, if that makes sense. He just seemed to be like over committing at times, which isn't always a bad thing. You know, you sort of want to just stick to your one thing. And if you're trying to switch between 2 options, you can run into trouble. But that's what I sort of noticed from him. Mark is saying Myers is such a liability sometimes. Yeah, he's chaos. That he is chaos. And it's interesting. That's for sure. He also saying, why wasn't Chase on it? I'd rather Chase on over Dickinson. Man, that is choosing between 2 good players, eh? I'm not even going to give my take on that. Dave saying never a doubt. Sure. Agam saying, should have even gone to overtime. Who is Barabanov? Yeah, I've heard his name a couple of times. He's got 7 goals this year. It's not like he's lighting it up. I mean, he's got 23 points. He's doing fine. He's young. He's 27 years old. He's only played 61 NHL games. He only broke into the NHL last season. So, I mean, hey, good on him for carving out a little career. It was a nice goal. Lauren saying, Parker, defend Myers. I dare you. He is exciting. He is exciting. You never know what's going to happen with Tyler Myers on the ice. For a genuine compliment, he's a minute eater, right? I mean, he played 22 minutes tonight. One of his lower minute games, to be honest. 3 shot blocks. Again, he wasn't great, but I don't think he was his worst self tonight. Andrew's saying, I'm still shaking my head even after a win. I think that's fair. So am I. TSM saying Miller just increasing his trade value. Yeah, I mean, the rumors right now are swirling that it might be Besser instead of Miller that's sort of top of the chopping block. I'm not going to go too far into that. I haven't formed too much of an opinion there. It's a very complicated situation. Lauren's saying looked like a Travis game, to be honest. Well, they scored 5 goals, so I don't know about that. But yeah, it was scrambly. Peter saying not the perfect game, but whatever, we'll take it somehow. Sure. Yeah, I mean, hey, we've had many instances where the Canucks have been the better team and they lose. And this is the game where the Canucks really gave the opponent every chance to win. And they still got the win. That happens in the NHL, right? It happens in any sport where there's not a lot of goals scored, right? Because if you're just going to have a 1-goal game, it doesn't take a lot for that one to flip. So you got the win. Kai saying Burrows won that 6-man spot over Hamonic and Poolman. It's going to be really interesting what's going to happen when everyone is healthy. Also, why is Hamonic trying to block a pass with half a second left? I agree on the Hamonic point, and I said exactly the same thing. Yeah, Kyle Burrows is honestly, I don't know if he's an NHL defenseman. I guess technically he is on this team. But I would rather have him out there over Hamonic or Poolman. And I'm pretty confident in saying that. Let's see here. Lauren saying literally the only good thing about this game was Besser and Miller increasing the trade value. Well, they won. They still did win, right? They still got 2 points. Jaskrin saying Miller showed no reaction to the OT winner. He knows this wasn't a good win. Yeah, he shouldn't, right? You can be fired up that you scored, but man, we did not play good. Kai saying that Petey had one of those vintage Petey games. He's been playing well lately, but I haven't really seen him trying this fun electrifying dekes and moves until tonight. He looks much stronger on the puck. I agree. Pedersen was actually sneaky good tonight. I mean, yeah, he gets 2 assists. But he making some, he had the handles tonight. I really liked Pedersen. And that Garland goal basically directly came off of some really nice puck control plays from Elias Pettersson, and Pettersson just happens to get the assist because he falls down in front of the net and it hits him, which, that's the hockey gods saying, hey, Pettersson, you earned that one. Yeah, he genuinely had a good game. And if his stick didn't break, I genuinely think he scores that goal with 4 minutes left as the insurance marker. We don't see overtime. And it's a much better feeling, 5-3 game. BL Tube saying, I thought Hamonic played a really good 59 minutes tonight. I didn't even really notice him for the rest of the game. I mean, six shot blocks. That's a great stat, right? That is genuinely a great stat, but I really didn't, I don't like him being out there at the end of the game. There was one play in that final minute where he should have cleared the puck. The puck went to the far corner from the broadcast view. So if you're envisioning far corner, that corner, and he went to the puck and he tried, and he like sort of looked up, didn't see a clearing ability and tried to pin it. That's fine. I like at least trying to clear it, like just smash it up the boards. If it's icing, who cares, right? Because then you get a chance to get possession anyways at this point. And you're not out there at the start of a long shift. It's better than just giving up possession. But he tries the pin play and he just misses the puck and the other team takes it. And like, it's like, okay, well, I guess they keep possession. Yeah, I didn't like him out there in the last minute. Jazzground saying everyone was a plus in the plus minus except Myers, who was a -1. Well, that's because 2 of their goals were on the power play, right? So the Canucks had 5 goals at even strength and the Sharks had 2. So that's why it gets called that way. That's why most people are going to be pluses. It's just the way she goes. Gus saying the team has to play 60 minutes. Great first period. Probably the best first this season. It's up there. They've had a few really good periods. I think they had one first period where they had like 21 shots or something like that. But, nonetheless, one of the better ones. And the rest of the game making sloppy plays. Yeah, I think that's fair. Justin saying the Canucks didn't deserve to win tonight. The thing is, I don't think the Sharks did either. They played one excellent period, sucked the rest of the game. Special teams is horrendous. Yep, totally fair. What else we got? Zafir, I love it. The positive. Huge 2 points. We're still right in it. Let's go. Let's go. Positivity. Why not? Why not after a game like that? Let's see what else we got here. Looking for some long ones. Clifford saying, well, that was the garbagest game I've seen the Canucks win all season. That is a word. I don't know if that's actually a word. Is garbagest a word? Probably not. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong there, Clifford. The Elder saying, if they can find a way to part with Myers and OEL, we'd have $14 million in cap space. Rathbone replaces Myers, Burroughs for OEL. Man, I mean, look, I think Myers and OEL are overpaid, but they are the team's 2 and 3 defensemen. If you get rid of Tyler Myers and OEL, you then have Quinn Hughes as a number 1 defenseman, and then you have no one else that is better than a number 6 at this point. That's a scary thought, especially because they have no defenseman in the system, right? They have no one coming up. Like Jet Wu, I don't think so. I mean, Tucker Poolman, he's not better than a number 6, even if he's someone who's not in your lineup here. Brad Hunt, it's again, I genuinely think they have negative value contracts, but you got to put somebody on the ice. It's tricky. Jaskran saying, who's excited for 100% capacity Saturday? I'm excited. It's going to be nice to see that on TV. I know we had a couple of games at 100%, I think at the beginning of the season, but yeah, it'll be nice to, it's going to be good. I'm excited for the energy. Zach saying that game took me back to the apathetic play of the Green Benning era. Yeah, a little bit. Liam saying, get those likes up now. He's being very forceful, guys, so you should listen to what he's saying. He's smart. Liam is smart. Jaskaran saying that Demko looked so shaky tonight, but I'm not blaming him except for one goal. I think that's fine. Yeah, again, goalies can look shaky and not have any goals be like really their fault. It's like Halak when he let 5 goals in, right? It was like none of them were like, wow, that was an egregious mistake by Halak, but it's like, man, you got to make some saves, right? What else we got here? Agam saying, I like the Alvin interview that Murphy conducted. Do you have any thoughts on it? No, because I didn't watch it. I was not at home during the first period, so I PVR'd it and came home and watched the first period, and then I skipped and caught up in the second, so I missed it. Sorry about that. Lauren saying, hard question. I know. Would you rather trade Miller or Besser? I would rather trade Miller based strictly on age. I think Besser's tricky because of that qualifying offer, but if you can convince him to go a little bit lower for longer term, he is 25 instead of 29. I think I really fear that the Canucks would be likely to lose Miller for nothing at the end of next season. However, if their thought is, hey, we can just keep Miller until he's a rental next year, and then maybe he's a rental for us if we're overperforming, I don't hate that line of thinking. So in that case, I don't think you have, I think if you are going to trade Besser, now is probably like this year's probably the time to do it. If you are going to trade Miller, you have more time. That's sort of my answer. I don't want to trade either of them, but I don't not want to trade either of them either because I see the reasons for doing so. Does that make sense? I'm a real fence sitter in this case. Agam saying, my thoughts are that everyone's up for sale for the right price. However, the Canucks don't have to trade everyone. Sure, that's fair. I think we should do a just like a general trade Q&A stream soon, because I feel like everyone's got trade opinions, and I don't know. It's hard for me to fit them all into these post games. So maybe we'll do maybe like Sunday. Something going on Sunday. The Canucks play Saturday. Maybe Sunday we'll do a little nighttime trade talk stream or something like that. Stay tuned. We'll see. Or maybe I'll just do a video. We'll do something like that. Time for everything. I think it's unfair to say the Canucks deserve to lose tonight because special teams were what killed them, but I liked how they played 5-on-5. Sure, special teams is part of the team, to be fair. But I see your point. You liked how they played 5-on-5. At 5-on-5, the Canucks expected goal share was 56%, right? So maybe they deserve to win, but it's not because San Jose was playing excellent. The issue is these long stretches where they just get nothing done, right? Sure, special teams is what killed them when it came to goals, but they could have put the screws to San Jose and really won this game if they didn't just quit in the second and third period. So I kind of disagree there. RP88 saying, why do you think our power play is so poor? Players, strategy, or both? The Canucks have the personnel. They have the personnel, right? I mean, we're talking about having elite shots in Brock Besser, Elias Pettersson, JT Miller's got a heck of a shot. You have Bo Horvat, who is excellent from the bumper position. You have Quinn Hughes, who's one of the most dynamic offensive defensemen in the NHL, right? Save for like Adam Fox and Cale Makar, right? Oh, top 5 offensive defensemen in the NHL. You got the personnel. I don't think players is the problem. I don't know if strategy is the problem either. There's some things I don't like on the power play, but I feel like the players should be able to supersede that. I think it's execution. Like I think it's on the players to make better decisions and put some pucks on net at some point, right? Pass to the right players. We see these plays where there was one where JT Miller came in on the power play on the rush, turned around and passed it right to a Sharks player who was defending the point. Right? That's not a strategy issue. That's an execution issue. That's just a mistake. And I think that's the most common thing we see from the special teams is it's just players who have the skill to make these plays. They just don't execute on what they need to do. So that would be my opinion. Colton saying, what are your thoughts on Alvin and Rutherford's openness with the market so far? I find it so refreshing to have management that is honest about what the team is at this point. Yeah, I agree. I think it also makes it interesting, right? Because we get so many perspectives and, we hear the rumors, we hear what they say, and maybe there's a little manipulation going on, right? Maybe they're trying to send some false flags out there to maybe drive up some values or things like that. I don't know if that's the case, but hey, why wouldn't you? If we're not talking about what they said, but the fact that they're saying things, it is so much different, right? I mean, they had Rutherford on Halford and Bruff this morning. You have Alvin on, like that's your top 2 members of your organization doing media hits on the same day. One of them like a long radio hit and the other a few minutes in an intermission. Like that is something that we just haven't seen before. And it's something that, when you're one of the most, passionate, I will say, fan bases in the NHL, it's something that, you know, is nice to see. So I like it. SK Thakor saying Pedersen played really well today. Played like rookie Petey without a shot. I played like Datsuk, the pickpockets and dangles. Yeah, the hands were back. And again, I think he's the trend. He does his trend is sort of like, it was really wavy and then we had a little low and like it's a little bit of a roller coaster, but you know, we're getting back on that maybe a little uptick again. You know, he's racking up points in his last few games here. I think he's over a point a game in his last like 11 games or something like that. So he's trending the right direction. And you know, if this year is a write-off, that's fine. I'm more worried about Pedersen's the next, you know, 15 years of Pedersen's career, even the next 8 years of Pedersen's career, more so than this 1 year. Cause this year is basically a write-off at this point. Agam saying that Myers is hard to get rid of. I don't want Hamonic playing 20 plus minutes. True. Myers has his moments of idiocy, but the guy is a minute muncher. Sure. And I agree with that. And that is basically what I said. And then to be the exact counter to what I said, that Myers contract's not going to be great. You know, 2 years from now. I mean, how many years does he have left on it? 4? Is that including this one? Tyler Myers contract. How long ago was that signed? It was only a 5-year deal. Okay, there's only 2 more seasons left on it after this one. Like, honestly, that Tyler Myers contract isn't that bad at this point. 2 more years at $6 million. Like I don't think he's a $6 million defenseman, but if you have a $6 million guy playing 24 minutes a night, that's honestly not terrible. So I honestly, I don't think you really need to move Myers. I don't think you're getting a lot for Tyler Myers at this point because of that contract. So that's sort of my thought, but again, I don't know. Zedric saying the team really needs to learn how to close out games. Letting up less than 10 seconds to go is such a bad product. Sure. That's fair. We'll take a few more questions here. Let's see here. I'm getting some duplicates. I don't know if people are being duplicatey or what's going on. Richard saying that the March trade window will be an epic event for this Canucks team. It'll be interesting. I am, the thing is, for my sake, for content's sake, let's get some trades going. Cause those are fun. It's fun, right? It's interesting. And I say this with the NBA all the time, right? They have these blockbuster moves every year. And like this year's blockbuster is going to be like Claude Giroux, which is a big move, but it's like a top 50 player, right? In the NHL, he's like 34. You know, it's a top like 50 player moving. When in the NBA, you have like top 5 players moving all the time, right? You're not seeing Draisaitl get traded at the deadline this year. So yeah, let's get some excitement going. That's my boat. Although I am scared. Moral asking what's going on in the trade market. I think we'll do a stream talking about trades in a couple of days. So make sure you're subscribed for that. And I know Moral is because I think we're in sub mode for the chat. So I'm going to skip ahead because Snaker with the 279 Snaker reptiles. I like your picture of your snake. How is your night going? It's going all right, except for the Canucks are very stressful, but I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. There's a lot of comments still here. I'm going to skip a few because I do want to wrap up here shortly. Ken saying the Canucks like to give free points to their opponents. Hey, they're nice. You know, they're saying, hey, you guys worked hard tonight. You can have a point. Sure. We'll share. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? In the grand scheme of things, the Sharks getting a point tonight does not matter, right? They should not be in the mix by the end of the year. I like this question from Lauren. Thoughts on the Leafs Heritage Classic jerseys? I kind of like them. I think they're kind of clean, to be honest. I think Toronto's never had like great jerseys. I can see the issue that most people have with them, and I get it, but I kind of like them. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I think in a winter classic theme, I think they'll look really clean. But I don't know. I know that's not a very popular opinion. Um, Scout saying 9 of the next 13 games are home games will determine our fate during this period. Here's the thing about that sentence. We will determine our fate during this period. How many times have we said that this year? Remember there was that road trip, the road trip where they went through Florida and Washington and Nashville, right? And we said this road trip will determine the team's fate. And they kind of went, they did okay. And then we're like, okay, well, they have a few tough home games here against like St. Louis, I think, and Nashville again, or if I remember correctly. We're like, yeah, well, this will determine their fate. And they did. They kind of stayed in the middle again. They won a couple, lost a couple. Like, all right, well, this next stretch, they have a bunch of home games coming up. This will determine their fate. Well, watch. The Canucks are going to these 13 games, they're going to win 8 and lose 5, and they'll still be a little bit out of it. And we're like, oh, well, the next few games, that'll determine what they do. And it's just like they're so good at staying level in the middle that who knows when their fate will actually be determined. But they have a month. They have a month until the trade deadline. All right, let's see if we can take a couple more. Casket saying, how was the game the Canucks won good enough for me? Well, that is good enough if you didn't watch the game. But if you watched the game, it was frustrating. All right. Monotone keeps saying, I think Toronto's New Jersey is awful, and I totally see why. I totally see why it looks bad. I just like it. Guys, hit that like button, by the way, while you're here, because we're going to wrap up there. If you missed any part of this, you can rewind back to the beginning if you want. I can see the chart of when people join. Most people join later on as it goes. So you can rewind back to the beginning, or you can find it on your favorite podcast platform in about 30 minutes or so. If you're on Spotify, you can even watch the video version. I don't know how that works. It's pretty cool. So also make sure you're subscribed, because we'll do this again Saturday night. Canucks and Ducks, I believe, at home. 9:30 p.m. That game should finish. 7 p.m. puck drop. So we'll talk then. Shout out to our members as always. Any new members in here? No new members, but hey, if you're interested, you can hit that join button down below. Totally optional. You get some emotes. I might add some more emotes in the next few days. Jaskran saying, can the Saturday stream be longer? Maybe. This one was almost 40 minutes. That's usually sort of my sweet spot. But maybe we'll shorten it up. We'll see. Thank you guys very much for joining. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. BL Tube's dropping the emote that I can't show on screen because it just shows this, which is lame. But thank you guys very much. Have a good night, and I will see you next time.